Shefali, and I thought I would do something different today instead of my normal interviews. Michelle is somebody that I've met a few months ago here on Google+, and she is just an amazing person, but I will tell you all that once she joins us. I want her to hear how inspiring she is. So we will wait for Michelle to show up, and we will talk about her and everything she does. Hey, Michelle.
Hey, Shefali, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Good
Great.
to see you again.
You too. It's been a while. We've all been so busy, and I was just saying to everybody that I met you a few months ago. Michelle is in Columbia, Missouri. Is that right?
Correct.
And I'm in Ottawa, Canada. I'm Shefali Burns. And today the interview is a little bit different. It's something very positive and inspiring, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So what I wanted to talk about was, Michelle, you have really inspired me, since I've met you. You're always so busy. I mean, you run 4 businesses with your husband, Brandon. That alone, like running one business is difficult, but running 4, that's amazing, So I think that, just that alone, my hat goes out to you. It's like wow, 4 businesses. I just can't imagine. But the important thing is that you are doing so much volunteer work and charitable work. How do you find the time to do all that? It's mind-boggling to me. So let's hear a little bit about Michelle, and just tell us your story in just a few words, and then we'll talk about all the different charitable organizations you actually do so much work for.
Well, as you said, Shefali, I'm a small business owner here in Columbia, Missouri, and I do have to balance owning a businesses and volunteer work. And I enjoy so much giving back to a community that does so many good things. How could you not want to give back? So it's exciting,
And that's what I find, your joie de vivre is so contagious. Like you're never tired, you're always happy, you're always bubbly whenever I see you. It's like you're always go, 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 which is amazing. And I think a lot of people have seen that about you, and that's why you have become such a good friend to everyone.
Well, I don't have kids.
So that's what's getting me tired all the time. It's the kids. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, kids will do that to you, right? They get you exhausted.
4 businesses are just like kids, though.
That's true. That is true. And I mean, Brandon must be so supportive of you too, because the both of you are working so hard, and then you're also doing all the other work that you do. So that must be really nice to have that support.
Absolutely.
He seems like a really nice guy. I think I met him once or twice, and he seems really sweet.
I kind of like him.
Yeah, that's good. So I was just thinking about the different organizations that you volunteer for. The Breast Cancer Awareness, which is a big organization, and it still needs a lot of help and support. Unfortunately, I'm now also, I've been affected by breast cancer now in my family. My mother is fighting it. We're going to say that. We're going to say she's fighting it, right? So my mother is fighting the breast cancer, and we're optimistic, and we are there to support her, obviously. You are also doing work for the Partners in Education, and as a parent with kids in high school and middle school, kids need all the help they can get. In education, the education system in the U.S. is slightly different than in Canada, but not that much, right? And there's always so much more that can be done. And you're also working for the Chambers of Commerce Ambassadors Program. I mean, just those 3 areas alone, along with your full-time 4 businesses, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of dedication. That's a lot of, commitment on your part, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I find inspiring, because I don't know how you find the time. Sometimes I can't find the time to do half of the stuff I'd like to do. But today we wanted to talk about an organization that you're really close to and committed to. It's called Changing the Odds. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. Changing the Odds is a women's network organization through our Chamber of Commerce. It was designed in 1998 with President Clinton that was wanting to get people back into the workforce and off of welfare. And so the Women's Network Division had seen that there was a need to get women back into the workforce. And so this organization would offer 2 free seminars per year. Initially, it dealt with women that were incarcerated, maybe in a drug rehab program, maybe in a women's shelter. Fast forward about 10 years, and now we've got general public that are dealing with issues trying to get back into the workforce. They might have stayed home to raise a family, or maybe have just been terminated and can't locate another job. And so this organization was created in the hopes to give a tool or a resource to these women of somewhere else to find employment. So we do the 2 free seminars per year, one in April, one in October. Originally, it would have gotten about 12 members, probably participants, to come. Our last seminar that we just held in October of 2011, we had 35 participants, which is really good because that means we're reaching out to 35 women that really need our help. The downfall is that there's 35 women that are really trying to find employment. And it ranges anywhere from a high school dropout to an older woman that may have a PhD. It could be a single mom. It could be a mom, a woman that is married with children. Many different backgrounds, cultures, the whole 9 yards. And so it's really empowering. It's really uplifting. And it's just so phenomenal to walk away from one of those seminars knowing that you've helped somebody. You've helped them get that spark back in their life, and that there really is people that genuinely do care about their well-being and to help them find a job.
Wow, that's great. And, it's also good to see these women who are taking that step as well. They're making the effort to go out there and take this program, right, and join this program and make a difference. Because even sometimes people give up, so they still have hope, and they're trying to do something for themselves and for their families. Usually there's families involved as well, so it's not just helping one person, but it's a family that you're helping.
Absolutely. And it's one of those things that you set your whole life to the side so that you can focus on these women that day, and they know it. I mean, they really, truly know that you are there to help them. So it makes your heart happy,
That's good, and that shows in who you are, and it shows in the people that you meet and talk to. So just a smile, just a caring word, just being helpful to somebody, it helps, so much. It's so much more than just one person, right?
Right.
Can you give us an example of somebody that you saw at that group that was really affected by the event?
Absolutely. There is one story in particular I will probably carry with me my entire life. I was a co-chair for 2 years on that committee. And we have different people come in and talk about different areas of the program to get kind of a synopsis of what we have to deal with in daily stuff, interviewing and whatever. And somebody else was speaking. I sat down at a table. I was considered, I guess, a table leader at this table. There was another woman sitting next to me, and then there was 2 black women that were sitting across the table from me. And this woman in particular was probably in her late 40s, maybe early 50s. Her cousin was sitting right next to her, and you could tell that right away when I sat down, we were going through a reading exercise, and you could just tell something just wasn't quite clicking. Something just wasn't quite catching on. And instantaneously, I just immediately took my chair and set it around next to that woman, so I'm sitting right next to her. And I told her, come on, I'm going to help you figure this out, and we're going to work on this together as a team. And little did I know, she couldn't read. She had very, very little reading abilities. She had been told by her cousin pretty much her whole life what to do, when to do it, and explain things, but never really taught true values such as reading. And so we go through the program. We had a lot of fun. I asked her, questions. Didn't make her feel like she was less than the woman that she was. So we get done with the program. No big deal. I go start cleaning up. Next thing I know, there is this black woman coming running to me with her arms wide open. She gives me the biggest hug and says, thank you. Thank you so much. And for that one moment, I knew that we had impacted at least one woman in the room. And she will stick with me forever. I mean, it is something that just genuinely, these are things that we have to deal with, or that women have to deal with in the real world. And so to be able to have a little bit of impact from that is phenomenal.
And that is an amazing story. And you're right. It's not just one person that you've touched, but that one woman alone, she was so happy and she was so thankful. It was so empowering for her, to be there and for you to help her. That's, that is really, really cool. I really like it to hear stories like that where you can actually see the difference you've made and people appreciating that. That's why we have Sarah Hill here, because I contacted her and I said, I'm going to be interviewing Michele. Would you like to come and say a few words? Because I know Sarah and you are in the same city, and you've also been part of the same organizations where you both volunteer and attend events. So I thought she would be the best person to say a few words to you about all the good that you're doing in your community.
Thank you.
We're just lucky to have people like Michele. I enjoy reading all of her posts all the time, and she always starts them with, hey, Sugar Britches, and her personality meets her volunteer spirit. She doesn't get paid for a lot of what she does in the community, and, Columbia, Missouri is such a neat community in that they have so many dedicated volunteers. But Michele is always sharing on her social sites, always donating her time and efforts to any community organization or event that needs it. And we are just very lucky to have individuals like Michele living in Mid-Missouri and on Google+, helping people out. And so we're just lucky to have her.
And, I met Sarah probably around the same time that I met you, Michele. And Sarah, you're doing phenomenal work on Google+ with your KOMU Hangouts and youth programs. And you're also doing a lot of volunteer work as well with Michele, because I've seen pictures of you both at the same events, So that's fabulous that you are both so committed to helping people in your community. And that's where it starts. That's how people can help others, is taking small steps in their community, whatever they can do. And as we can see what Michele said, it's made a difference. For that one woman alone, it made a difference. And I'm sure it's made a difference for others as well. And, for me, it's really touching and it's really inspiring to know that you can make a difference one person at a time. And this world is getting better and better because of people like you, like you and Michele.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. I'm thrilled to be mentioned alongside Michele. So that's an ultimate compliment. So Shefali, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarah. It's great working with you.
It's great working with you too.
Yeah. So this was just a small little interview to show how somebody can do so much in a small community like in Missouri. It doesn't have to be big things. It can be small, in your little town, in your village, in your small city, doing whatever you can to make a difference and help, and people really do appreciate it and people recognize it, and the more we do, the better this world will be. And I just want to thank you, Michele, so much for just being who you are. You're phenomenal, amazing, and I'm so glad that I met you here on Google+ a few months ago.
Thank you so much. Well, if it wasn't for Sarah, we wouldn't have met. So it all comes back to a great networking circle and people that you know, love, and trust, and it goes from there.
Absolutely. And, I always say all the time, I love Google+. I don't go to Facebook very much at all, or Twitter, or anywhere else. I love Google+, because of the engagement. I mean, when would I ever have had the opportunity to be on a Hangout show with Sarah Hill in Missouri? Like, when would I ever have that opportunity? I wouldn't have, And they're not doing that very much here in Ottawa, for example, right? So there's so much happening here, and people are reaching out, and just the interviews that I've done so far, I don't know, Sarah, if you've had a chance to see any of them, but the impact of them for the people that were involved in the interviews has been phenomenal. So much support, and that's what people need. People need to know that they're not alone, that there are organizations here to help you, and people here to help you and support you. And I think that's all I'm trying to do by doing these interviews, just bringing awareness to people that you're not alone. We're here to help. Whatever we can do, just reach out, and we're all connected, and that's what we're learning through Google+. We're all connected. It's amazing.
And you're using your platform, which I think is really, really great to see so many people using their platform. I mean, a lot of people could share things that aren't really important, but it's really neat to see people like you share things that are important. So hats off to you.
Thank you. So
absolutely.
Thank you so much.
You want positive impact in anything that you do. There's so much negativity that sure we could focus on it, but why? It's not worth my time, your time, anybody else's time.
No, and I'm the kind of person who I only focus on the positive. I mean, I have my negative days. Don't get me started. But, you know, I'd rather focus on the positive and spread the light. I'm all about spreading light, spreading kindness, happiness, joy, however I can. You know, in a small way, big way, whatever I can do. And I think more and more people are, you know, starting to do that. And, you know, this is 2012 is going to be an amazing year. It's going to be phenomenal. So
I was just saying, it makes you wonder, you know, if this face-to-face communication is going to make us a nicer, more polite society. Because, you know, I mean, when you think about emails or when you try to text something, so much gets lost in translation in an email. I mean, sometimes you read an email and you're like, you get defensive, and you know, you really don't know where they're coming from, and you're like, eh. But then when you talk to them and work it out face-to-face, it's fine. And I just wonder if, you know, on Twitter or Facebook, when you get in those dialogue exchanges between people and you don't have the opportunity to open up a hangout and talk with them face-to-face and, you know, see really where they're coming from, it'll be really interesting to watch this space and see what this face-to-face connection does with conflict resolution, too, you know?
Well, I think on the same aspect with that, you know, when we were younger, you know, a lot of things that you did, you picked up the phone. We didn't have texting. We didn't have email. We didn't have all that. Well, now these younger generations, they rely on texting, and they, you know, they break up their text to where it doesn't even make sense or whatever. And so if we can get them to realize that face-to-face interaction, you're going to learn to trust. You're going to learn to go back to the way things used to be and build true relationships instead of hiding behind a phone or a computer or whatever the case may be.
And you know, that's what's happening with these hangouts. Like, we have met so many people and built so many relationships just through these hangouts that we, you know, it's amazing that we can actually have this rapport and have this connection with so many people, you know, which we never had before, and we never would have probably had the opportunity to meet so many different types of people from all over the world, right?
And in what, a short 6 months, 7 months?
Yeah.
You know?
That's it.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
It's phenomenal, and that's why I mean, I love Chi-Chu. I love Google Plus. I think they're doing a phenomenal job, and you know, being able to help them test out this platform has been amazing. You know, we could not have done this on Facebook. I mean, we talk to Chi-Chu. We talk to, you know, these Googlers all the time, and face to face, and it's like, you know, we can tell them our opinions. We can tell them what's working, what's not working, and we can, I mean, we just have to ask, and particularly they try and do whatever we want, you know. So I have only positive things to say about this space, and this platform is just going to get better and better the more we use it.
It's turning into a culture. I mean, it really is. It's, you know, if you find, you know, I see that somebody is friends with you, and so I add them. You know, I mean, it's like you start with one tribe, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and I'm really excited to watch, you know, when everybody else, the flip switches for them, and they say, oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, you can talk to people in this network? It's like,
in a safe environment.
It is a safe environment, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know,
but that's the first thing they think of, is because there's so many you know, there's so many people out there that is the wrong way. But start with something just like Sarah. You know, you can trust Sarah, and from that point on, it just goes ballistic from there. I mean, it just goes crazy because you meet so many people.
And that's the thing, start small. I was talking to somebody just not even half an hour ago who has not hung out, and I told him, I said, hopefully he's not watching, but no names, but I told him, I said, you know, start off small, 1 person, 2 people, 3 people in a hangout, and then you will see the power of these hangouts, you know. I mean, I started small. I came into a small group, just women only, right, first, because I was nervous about it. And then when I saw Kim Beasley hanging out with you, Sarah, on your show, I was like, oh, okay, I know Kim Beasley. I met her, so I came on, and that's how I met you and a few other people, right? And then now I have a core group of people that I hang out with every single day, you know. So it's really, really cool. So I have this core group, and then I expand out. You know, sometimes when there's room in the hangout, because unfortunately there's only 10 seats. Sometimes we wish there was more, but what can you do? But then I've met like hundreds of people in these hangouts, and most of them, 99% of them, are really cool, you know. I've only ever had one bad experience. So
that's what I think is so neat. You know, it kind of restores your faith in the fact that people are generally nice, and people are generally, for the most part, considerate and respectful. And I always knock on wood when I say that, because so far, knock on wood, we haven't had anybody, you know, shake that trust in our hangout. Now, we've been careful on who we allow to speak in there, but, you know, I mean, generally, anybody who I've added to that circle, we haven't had any issues with, so that's kind of an...
And most people are so helpful and resourceful, you know. That's the other thing, is that if I ever have a question about something, I just have to ask my friends or just, you know, share publicly, and I will get answers galore. And it's so much more quickly than anywhere else, you know. I mean, I don't even have to Google it, because somebody will give me the answer that I'm looking for, you know. They're so helpful and so resourceful, and they'll take the time in a hangout to explain something, you know, that I don't understand how to do, because I'm not technically savvy. And so they will explain it to me, and they'll show me how to do whatever it is that I want to do. So that's another amazing thing that I found here in these hangouts and on Google Plus, is how helpful people are, you know.
Well, and I think it's pretty cool, Sarah, that you guys have tried this, and you stuck with it, you know, through everything, and you're just trying to make awareness for people, but it's something that you guys aren't afraid to try. I mean, it's putting yourself out there, but how else can you utilize Google Plus for the things that you do, and to let other people from all over the world have opinions, or to have their own, you know, things on there. That's awesome.
Well, it's a risk, and, you know, we haven't quite worked out all the bugs yet, and, you know, obviously there are some people who are like, who are you talking to on your laptop, you know, on the set at first, and, you know, directors are you know, they see the thing in my ear, and they're like, we need her to stand by. And so, you know, I'm obviously a distractive driver, so it was a real learning curve for everyone to try to get into this whole family of, hey, those people that I'm talking to on our laptop for the very first time are our television viewers, and now we can finally see their faces. Right. And it's like talking to somebody, you know what I mean, like a long-lost relative, you know, when you're reading stories, and sometimes I have the earpiece in, and sometimes I don't, but the majority of the time I do, or I hear it through my earpiece. You know, you'll read a story and you'll hear them react instantaneously to what you just read. And that is like, that is a geek out moment for us, because we've never had that real-time feedback of reading and then hearing what you guys say about it, which is just, you know.
Well, you do a phenomenal job of balancing it all very well. So, and I appreciate that. It's very well thought through and put together.
Well, some days I do an okay job, sometimes I don't, but it's still a learning curve. So
we're human. We're all human.
Life is a learning curve. It's all a learning curve, and we're all doing the best we can, right?
Absolutely.
Right. Shefali, I've got to go pick up my daughter, but I just wanted to pop in and say, rock on, Michele.
Thank you so much, Sarah.
I appreciate for everything that you've done for our broadcast and everything you continue to do for Mid-Missouri. So
I will. You know I will.
All right. See you, Sugar Britches.
Bye, Sugar Britches. Have a good night.
Bye, Sarah. Thank you.
I love her. She is wonderful.
Yeah. So that was my little surprise for you, because
I like that. Thank you.
Yeah, since you know her personally and you've been to the same events, and so she knows what it's all about, right?
You know, I admire Sarah Hill. I admire her, some of the things that she's done, some of the things. She has sincerity, and she is truly uplifting and positive, and she's always pushing forward and a go-getter. And I mean, you just can't say enough wonderful things about her. And so
I totally agree. I love her. Yeah, it's great. I mean, when I can be home on some days when at work, I'm lucky to get into the hangout and spend some time with her. You know, it's nice. I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I wanted to thank you again, Michele. This has been wonderful. Keep doing what you're doing. Just be yourself. You're doing a phenomenal job. You know, just helping, you know, everybody that you see, and just your radiant smile all the time is so uplifting. You know, I just love it. You know, so just keep doing what you're doing, and you are a definite positive role model for all of us out here.
Thank you, Shefali.
And
you keep doing what you're doing, too.
Thank you, sweetie. Thank you. See you later.
All right, talk to you soon. Bye. Bye.